Welcome to Talking Peace with the Western New York Peace Center, being recorded here in Think Twice Radio, the home of the future, also the home of our friend and producer, Richard Wicca. So we thank Richard and Tom who are producing this show, and we also thank our friends at WBNY, Buffalo's original alternative radio station, 91.3 FM, coming out of Buff State. So thank you, WBNY and Buff State. And when I think of thankfulness, I do think of our indigenous friends. I think of our friends of color, and I think of how much injustice has been heaped upon people, and still there is such a spirit of thankfulness to the Creator. So we're here on stolen Haudenosaunee land, stolen Seneca or Onondaga land, and still the Seneca start off all of their events with something they call words that are said before all else, that really thank the people who put it all together, who made it possible. Thank Mother Earth for giving us everything that we need for a good creation and life on this planet, and thankful for the healing waters. Water is life. The waters that are so important and so beautiful and so vital to our very existence, to all the plants and animals and all the different elements in the sky world, and to the Creator and the love that animates it all. And then they say Nyahweh, and the people say Nyo.
No.
So thank you for that. And I will say our friends of color who also have had every kind of injustice and things heaped upon them, that, and we know, that's a large part of this topic we're going to be talking about today. And still people say Ashe and are grateful for every day when we wake up to another day. And I hear that gratitude, and I know I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have the people here that we have to illuminate this subject. Subject being criminal injustice, or in other words, the criminal justice system, or as I like to call it, the criminal injustice system. But anyway, there's a lot of work to be had on that very diabolical and harmful system. Just so wrong-headed and wrongly implemented, everything about it. So I just want to say we're so grateful. First, here we have Jerome R. Wright. Jerome is the co-chair of Jails Justice Network, also of the HALTsolitary campaign of CAKE, which is community.
Campaign for alternative.
Campaign. That was I was struggling with that part. Campaign for alternative to isolated confinement. I knew that part. Was that I was getting that? Yeah. So anyway, Jerome, welcome.
Thank you, Vicky. Always a pleasure to be with you and to be in community with my brothers and sisters in the struggle for the real liberation of the people. Because right now we in bad shape. Yeah.
That's what we need. Well, we do. Yeah. And Sister Donna Robinson, so grateful to be here with you. So good to see you always. Thank you for rushing over here. You're just renowned in the community. You've worked with so many organizations, including Jails Justice Network, Voice, RAP, the Western New York Peace Center. Just so many different ways that you've been working with or without organizations to just keep pushing forward to care for the people, the care that people need. So, Donna, thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Vicki. I can hardly ever say no to you. And just to be in the same room, breathing the same air with Jerome and my iconic buddy over here, Chuck Culhane. We've spent a lot of time on the roads doing this, and we try to make the most out of a bad situation. I say laugh to keep from crying. But this is something that is serious, more so now than ever. So thanks for the opportunity to have us here to talk about
it. Well, we're so grateful. We're so grateful to have you come. And last but not least, Chuck Culhane. Chuck, long-standing member of the Western New York Peace Center. You've been on the board. You've been the chair of the Prisoners' Rights Taskforce, or whatever we called it at the different ages and stages. It's been called differently, but always working on those justice issues and caring for the people. So thank you, Chuck, for coming.
Pleasure.
It's great to have you here. So, and I'll introduce myself because I want to say Vicki Ross, or I am now acting or interim executive director at the Western New York Peace Center, but I'd like to bring up Victory. It's in my email address, victoryross9@gmail.com. But because it was my teenage nickname, and it gives me the excuse to bring up what we already know, that the real victory, everybody wins. And so having a healthy response to issues in the community is what we need, and everybody will benefit. And the people, right now we have a sick system that just causes more damage to every side, and we just have a lot of work to do. So before we go too far, I want to just ask that we talk about, when we think of the criminal justice or the criminal injustice system, what are the values that you think of that we need to be bringing into this conversation? So, Jerome?
The value. And I guess I hope I answer this right, because when we think of values, people think of values in different ways.
Sure.
And to me, I think it is the value of humanity. Mm-hmm. That until we are able to really look at each other and treat each other as the human beings we are, right, irregardless of our race, creed, religion, national origin, sexual preference, all of those things that divide us, mm-hmm, or label us as different, until we start to look at each other as the flawed human beings that we are, that need the help of each other, need the community to help us. A criminal justice system is supposed to address the needs of the people that are in the system.
Yes.
That never happened to any real degree, and right now we at a state of emergency where it's not happening at all. But if we thought of each other as human beings, we wouldn't treat each other the way the system treats human beings that are in the system. And so we need a real value of humanity. We need to get back to looking at each other. I mean, I think it was Malcolm X who said that the fight is never for civil rights, it's for human rights.
Right.
Because you can't be civil unless you can't even look for civil rights until you view me as a human, right, with equal rights to you first and foremost.
Right. No, yeah, you're so right. That's so beautifully put. Thank you,
right,
Jerome. Yeah, no, humanity. And Donna?
Well, when I think about values, I go back to when I was a child. Mm-hmm. My grandmother raised me. They called it the Golden Rule, but basically it boils down to the 10 Commandments.
Right.
And it seems like 9, if not all 10, have been broken by the Department of Corruption here, mm-hmm, in the state of New York. There's, mm-hmm, no justice, right, in the criminal injustice system. Mm-hmm. I like to call it what it is. The first commandment, thou shalt not kill. We already know that they've been killing us since the inception of the carceral system. And in recent years, it's catapulted to astronomical numbers, so much so that they don't even have an exact count. And I think it's egregious what we go through, especially when our loved ones are incarcerated. I know me personally, I can't sleep, I can't function unless I know how my loved ones are doing inside. And it really cuts like a knife. Because
yes,
you know of the things that can happen,
right,
if the powers that be have their way.
Well, and the things that have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
and are
right,
still
right,
happening
right,
since.
and are happening.
Right now.
Yes.
They've been caught. It's like, oh,
right,
well, yeah, that was only one time we got caught. But it's happened so many more times since then, and it's not going to stop happening until we, the people who have the voice to speak for the voiceless, say no more.
Right.
You know, we're not going to take this anymore.
Right. Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Donna. And Chuck, what do you think of for values about this topic of the criminal justice system?
At the individual and collective levels, I would think that persistence, perseverance is essential to even just having a chance to make changes for the better. As we sit here, a man on Mississippi's death row named Chuck is either dead or will be dead
Yeah.
in minutes.
Uh-huh.
His name is Charles Ray Crawford. I think he's about 72 years old. That, you know. And, I was on a Zoom call before he picked me up. We're doing some good work out there and hanging in there, you know, keeping
Right.
the fight alive. My own ability to impact changes is more in the past than, I'm sorry to say, than in the future. I would like to run the marathon again, you know, but it's not going to happen this year
Right. Right.
or this life. But I adhere to the philosophy of Jerome. I said it often, other people in the struggle, that the system is not broken.
Yeah.
It's working the
Right.
way it was designed
Right.
to work.
Right.
Against us.
Yeah, it's a broken system. I would tell when I had the great opportunity to teach up at UB campus, American Studies Department, I would emphasize with the students that this is a great country. You know, it's like just opportunities without end, blah, blah, blah. I said, but keep in mind, the country was founded on genocide,
Right.
and it was built on slavery.
Right.
And the residual impact of these horrific traumas,
Right.
historical, racial traumas, are still alive and still
Absolutely.
acting out their initial designs. So I come with very little to the table anymore. My brain is like kind of
That's not what I'm hearing.
Not at all.
No, you're so right.
Yeah.
You're so right about the perseverance and persistence that is needed too. And I mean, I'm going to say all three of you have been the picture of that, and on this issue and on the collective issues, because they are related, and we always that ends up coming up. But just to say, I mean, I can say that for me, you know, my fallback values, they really always work. So all of the ones that you said, they're so right on. And truth and love. So the truth of what's going on in that system, the truth of the damage that is done, and I want to say the damage that is done to everyone.
Yes.
We know that corrections officers are not, I mean,
Immune.
statistically, we know they're not happy people. That's the proof is in the numbers of the kinds of issues, the alcoholism, the domestic violence,
yeah.
that all of
Drug
that
use, yeah.
happens. So it's not work. And when we say working, not working, you know, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. But if you're looking for justice, if you're looking for a culture of peace, if you're looking for the beloved community, then it's not working, you know. And then love, back to, you know, we're all connected. So humanity means we are all connected in the very most extreme way, more than we understand, more than we do understand on this side of creation. So when we get to another place, I think we'll understand it very differently. But even now, we know that when people are hurting, it hurts other people. First of all, hurt people, and then there's so many ways that we all pay a price you know, when and certainly violence begets violence, so it just creates more violence in our communities, and it just keeps things going down, down, down. So anyway, so let us talk a little bit about the state of the criminal justice system right now. You know, especially I really appreciate that people have brought up about the history of how that system even started. And I know if we start with the policing, you know, we started right off the bat with the
Slave patrols.
with this the slavery, with the way the land was stolen from indigenous people, and then slaves were people were enslaved and brought over here, and on the backs of those enslaved peoples, all the, you know, there was more money in the labor of enslaved people than there was in any other facet of our resources.
That's what made this country, and that's what the criminal justice system now is. It's a business. It is a corporation. It is an LLC, whatever you want to term it. It is about jobs and an economy. It's about generations of people being able to live a decent life, put their kids through school and college, and go and live the American dream on the backs of the same people that they did that to during slavery and during the genocide that this country was founded on. It is so bad that we got people. When I came out here, I left a little later because I was watching the news because I was going to pick her up, and I'm like, I got to look at the world news, and you got white grown men tackling women all over the cities,
Kicking a woman.
kicking and tackling them to take them out of the country, and they don't even know at this point when they're doing it if they're legal or not. Because half the people they're finding out are legal citizens, shouldn't be involved in that, which is a whole entirely crazy thing.
Right.
But the idea that they're using this type of force and intimidation and Gestapo-like tactics
Absolutely.
on women and children, but to the goal of saying, you don't belong in my country because you came here illegally. When they came here, when there was no law, but they did the most illegal thing possible. They took
Attack
somebody's
them.
land. No,
Yeah.
took the land.
Oh, right.
You took their
Taking
land.
them.
So you're not here legal. It's not legally yours either.
Right.
This
Right.
is stolen land.
Right.
And then it was land that you purchased with the blood of the people that was here, who even taught you things like how to survive here. So I guess what I want to say about this system is a replication of everything this country has been about. It's been about oppression. It's been about enslavement and the profiteering of a certain segment towards that end. And it hasn't changed. And that's why we say it's not broken, because it's doing the same thing it's always done. We went from cotton fields to penitentiaries.
Yeah, from the plantation to the penitentiary.
Yes, yeah. So it's not, that's the problem. It's not about justice. It's about an economy for them, and enslavement still for us. That's the injustice of it.
No, you're so right. Donna?
I think, I agree with everything that Jerome has said.
Right.
The trajectory of the way that things are going now under this new administration, it's like,
Oh, my God.
if you know the word, you kind of know where it's going. All of these things have been foretold, so they've got to come to fruition. And he's speeding up the process. It's like he's got his finger on the trigger and he's pulling it slowly but surely. And in a minute, we're going to get that big bang. And I don't think there's going to be too much that we would be able to do about it, because in his mindset, right now, he's going after the Attorney General. I mean, that takes, cojones to do something like that.
Right.
If you can attack one segment of the government, you don't care anything about the people who are incarcerated, let alone the people who are out here in the communities.
Right.
We're struggling from day to day. Before coming here tonight, I went to the Beverly Grace Center to hear the Lieutenant Governor, Antonio Delgado. He was talking that good stuff You know, politicians, they have a way to talk out the
Right.
side of their neck so that while you're looking at the mouth, the words are coming out their neck. And so it sounds really good to you in practice, but in theory, you're sitting up there like, you know, if it was this easy, this would have been fixed a long time ago.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you make it sound like when you get in office, all of our troubles are going to go away. No, we're swapping the devil for the witch. That my grandmother
Right.
used to use that expression, and I didn't
Right.
understand what she
Right,
meant.
right.
But you're swapping one evil being for another evil being. I don't see. We need peopleticians, people who are invested in the
Peopleticians.
community, not in that slick talk to get benefactors to finance their pocketbooks and what have you. They're looking out for the big businesses while us who are living from check to check
Right.
are struggling because
Right.
maybe there was one woman in the audience tonight. She almost had me in tears. She's like, I'm a teacher's aide. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I put my daughter through Howard University and HBCU. She says, but when I applied for food stamps, they told me I was $1 over the limit.
What?
$1. And I know this is true. That $1 over the limit, so I didn't qualify. But yet, I'm living in subsidized housing for 19 years that they said that after 15 years I could buy this house, but not so much because now they're trying to put me out. So they're going to make me homeless. I'm not qualified for any government assistance because I've got a job as a teacher's assistant. You know, and this is the resonance that I hear all the time. And I think there was an article that said that there's trillions and trillions of dollars. They're being held by one class of people.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest of us have nothing. So if you have everything and we have nothing, what do you think's going to happen?
Right.
We're going to come and take what you got. We're not worrying about going to prison. Yeah, we know it's hell. But if I'm hungry, my family is hungry, and I can't get food stamps legally, I'm coming for you. So it's a perpetual a wheel. It's like a hamster's wheel. We
Right.
just keep going in circles, and we're looking for a savior, but I don't think they're walking around on earth on two legs.
Well, we know poverty is a huge generator for crime. People need to
is
eat.
it.
That's the bottom line.
People need to eat. People need to have a place to. So there's all of this. It's a setup, and it's just a craziness and just really abomination.
I know you want to ask
I'm
Chuck
gonna-
something, but she said something about what we're starting to see now, that if our families can't be safe in there, inside those facilities,
Right.
then you know what's going to happen. Their families are not going to be safe out here either.
Well, violence just
Right, that's
generates
what-
violence.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's what she just said.
Exactly. And
That's
no
exactly what she
question
said.
about it. So, Chuck, what would you add to, in terms of sort of how we've gotten or where we've gotten to, in terms of the criminal justice system at this point?
Right now, it's it's in a constant crisis across the country. Just a few years ago, it would be unheard of, or mostly unheard of by mainstream folks, that they could lose their citizenship because they didn't check off a box on their food stamp application or something. It's definitely a scary time for people and for this country. I mean, he's just like on the way over. I saw before computer, Trump ordered a hit on another Venezuelan boat.
Right.
Refers to Maduro, the president, as a narco chief. I mean, it's just indiscriminate land grabs, intimidation.
Right.
And he got the guns and he's using them. He's doing if they-
So
yeah.
it seems to me like, even more than usual. So we're talking about the criminal justice system, but we really end up talking about the whole ball of wax here, right? Because just as I'm hearing it, and as we sort of know, the more the rule of law, which first of all was not equally or fairly administered,
To begin with.
and now it's deteriorating even more to the point where we have, masked people, identified people, kidnapping people on the basis of language, appearance,
color, yeah.
skin color, absolutely skin color. We know that's
Even
been
employment,
like a top,
employment.
any
they
of
hit
it,
any places
any of
that-
it,
yeah, yeah.
any of it, so that there's such a level of lawlessness in the so-called state apparatus. The way the state, the larger state, meaning the country, is being run, and certainly in New York State as well. So let's get so that all of that is true, and I think we have so much cause for concern. But let's sort of telescope it back down a little minute to talk about the HALTsolitary and our situation in New York State in terms of the criminal justice system. And I want to say we've seen, and I think we need to talk about, the killings that have gone on, the clear indications that it's been very routine,
Sure.
and how solitary fits into that, and how the strike. So, we did a talking piece show on the what did we call it?
Subterfuge.
The subterfuge.
Yeah,
That's the word I was trying to
right,
remember.
right.
The subterfuge.
And the subterfuge
of the
worked.
criminal justice.
It worked. I have to give
of
credit
the
where
strike.
it's due. I have to give credit where it's due. They turned that entire incident of the lynching and racist murder of 2 black men into a HALTsolitary problem.
Right.
And they garnered the media to jump on that, and instead of jumping on why are we beating black people to death,
Yeah. to
or
death.
whether it was on video or not, because you had one on video, and then right across the street, not even 2 months later, you have somebody beating them again. And let me tell you about that. That wasn't on video, but they got audio of the officers plotting to set up the fact that a weapon they caught early in the day in the jail, they were going to plant on this guy to say that's why they did that. The sergeant and the officers are there plotting how to subterfuge again, write this up so that the
Right.
guy is at fault. We were justified in killing them. So if we don't have that video, that would go down as a justifiable murder. Like all of them, one gleaming hope that I do have. I spent 30 years in prison. I spent 13 years on parole, and I've been 4 years now without any supervision, right? In all that time, I have never seen officers charged, arrested, convicted, sentenced, and punished to the murder of any human being, any incarcerated person, until Robert Brooks. Now, it's a shame that that's the case, but that does tell me that there is some hope that now things can be changed, because it would have never happened before. I watched Butch Harvey and a bunch of men get killed over the years, and not a single person get arrested, convicted, tried, or sentenced.
Nothing.
Nothing. Maybe administrative, 30 days, no pay, you can't go there, or transfer to another facility, but never anybody did any time. Matter of fact, nobody's been convicted. I was involved in an assault where the officers was arrested, tried, but they were convicted of nothing. And basically,
Right.
like felony or like a parking ticket. This is the first time, so it is changing. What the problem is with HALT that everybody's missing is just like with ICE. They start with people. They started with
Right.
the gang members. Remember, they said nobody want gang members, macheteros and M57s or whatever. Everybody, everybody was against that. And when they did that to them, everybody was like, well, you know, elite, they're gang. And then we found out in there that all of them weren't gangbangers and all of them was, but it allowed them, they picked the lowest of the group, the most
Right.
vulnerable.
Right.
And then they did that. Now it's the next group. And it'll be you next. Whoever's listening, you'll be you next
it'll
if
be
you don't
us.
stop. Right.
It'll be us.
And that's how it is. This is a prison and the criminal justice is a microcosm of what's going on in the federal government. That the president is running the government like Daniel Monticello is running the Department of Corrections, Community Service, Community Supervision. They do what they want. They don't answer to no laws. They break the laws. They want to enforce them on you. And this is what we have now. That's why HALT has not been implemented. 2021 passed.
Right.
Supermajority.
Right.
Supermajority in both houses. Mm-hmm. And it's almost 5 years later, and it has not been fully implemented. And it's the law. Not only that, we've had 3 court orders. Court orders, not opinions. Court orders saying cease and desist what you're doing, implement it. And they have
Not done.
done it. Now we have the UN rapporteur on torture filing a UN complaint. And do you think they're going to do anything then? No. But she said it. Until we say no more. The people say no more. Like they shut the government down when they want to our detriment. When we shut it down because we tired of it and it got to change, that's when it's going to change, unfortunately.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it has to. It has
But
to.
we got to do it. It's not.
Right.
It's not. They're not going to do it. And HALT should be a clear example to everybody that you got a duly constituted law that took 12 years to get passed, that was passed, and now has not been implemented because they feel it's inconvenient or they don't like it. An administrative agency. What's to say that any other law that they cannot do? To say, what's to say to raise the age, all the things that we fought all these years for?
Right.
Look at it.
Well, we've seen it.
Look
It's
at raise
being-
the age. They call it a failed law because they never funded it. They never provided everything that they said they wanted to provide to make it work. They
Right.
didn't give.
Right.
So now it's failed. So that's the same thing gonna say, well, HALT's not good, but they never did it.
Right. No, they
How can you
never
say it's
did.
not good? How can you say it's a problem when you have not done it?
Right. Right. No, it's just an excuse because they want to go back. Donna?
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to the paradigm of perpetual punishment.
Right.
It's a form of punishment. It's inhumane. The UN deemed it inhumane.
Right.
Nelson Mandela law is inhumane. I know during COVID, when we were sequestered inside of our home,
Right.
we became hostile. Some marriages broke up.
Right.
Some children got put out. I don't care. Go out there and get COVID. You can't stay here. This is the effect that isolation and confinement have on you.
Right.
I know for me personally, I can't stay in my bathroom longer than an hour. I'm claustrophobic. My bathroom's not that big. If we went in our bathrooms and tried to stay there 24 hours, not even for a week, just try it for 1 or 2 days. Trust and
Right.
believe that when you came out, there would be things mentally wrong with you, probably
Absolutely.
physically wrong with you,
Sure.
but yet we can find human beings as if they are animals, naked, no clothing,
Right.
and conditions where it's cold, no abilities to shower, improper feeding, if you get fed at all. You know, I get so incensed. And I have 2 dogs. When I see commercials about saving the animals, saving the whales, etc., do you mean to tell me in this great, supposedly United States and the Empire State of New York that we would treat animals better than human beings? What does that say about us as a people?
Right. Absolutely.
You
No,
know,
you're so
these
right.
these laws didn't just come about helter skelter. This took years of people suffering and getting to the point where we've tried everything else. We are not going to put up with this anymore. We're going to revolt. We're going to show the world just how they feel about incarcerated lives. The United States, we don't care. Other countries in Europe, they make prison look like a country club. Here, prison looks just like what it is. An abyss, a hellhole. Even the smell when you go inside, you don't forget that. I still recollect smells of 65 years ago when I used to go into the state penitentiary in Rahway, New Jersey with my grandmother. I can still smell that. That's trauma. And
That's
I was
trauma.
only a visitor. Just imagine being confined for 25, 30, 40, 50 years.
Right.
It does something to you mentally, physically.
Of course.
That prison cannot address it. They're not equipped. They have veterinarians for doctors. Nurses, aides who could no longer be home health aides as nurses. So what type of medical treatment do you think
No,
they're going
right.
to give them?
No.
It's a system that's going to fail us. Yes, it's working the way that they designed it, and they designed it to fail us as humans.
Why we have so much to do to change it, because it's so unjust in every kind of way. Chuck,
Yeah.
you want to say anything about the state of the prison system at this point, or jails, if you wanted to. The other thing we haven't talked really about is we could talk about the no new jail. I know I just saw that that Poland Cars put out a budget with a lot of money for planning for a
Again?
new for planning
How much
the new
money?
jail.
Again.
That I'm not sure of. I just saw it. I'm not recollecting the number right now.
I'm not sure of that either. But yeah, well, it's like a thing of distraction, So, oh yeah, and there's protests about the new jail and lots of money going there, money that we have left over from this $1.5 billion stadium that we really need, so nobody in Buffalo can go see a fucking game, and but. It's not funny. I mean, it's just resources that could
Right.
lift the whole community,
Right.
and they're just going to perpetuate the same problems, I remember we mentioned Attica earlier,
Right.
Right.
and I mean, at the time of Attica, I think there was maybe 12,000 people
Man.
in state prisons, and then from there. Over time, and everybody saw it. Oh, it's the watershed mark. The public is finally getting to see what the prisons are doing to people, and and what did they do? They brought in some great window dressing.
Yep.
Took down the screens in visiting rooms. Brought in some educational stuff, which the guards heartily resented. We have to pay for our education. Get out of here. Yeah, you get a bunch of money to pay for that education.
Right.
And but it's one lawyer used to come and visit, Liz Fisher, one of the Attica brothers.
Yeah.
Remember Liz?
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
she went out to New Mexico, and she said, the system is insidious. It's like with the Hydra. Chop off that snake's head, and boom, there's another one or two.
Right. Right.
It's prepared for struggle and to buy off people, to keep their interests ahead of people's interests. But yeah, 1968, September 13th, I got shot in the back of the head while being transported from Auburn to Westchester for a hearing. Yeah. And subsequently charged with another man with felony murder attempted escape, and which was actually a misdemeanor. We were tried under the felony murder law. And 2 trials later, I'm on death row, and here comes September 13th rolling around. That was the day that state went in.
Wednesday.
Rockefeller ordered the
State troopers in the kill.
Right.
and the National Guard,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And but there were signs of the system cracking too. You know, like with the you had the medical officers saying people didn't die from having their necks cut. They were shot by bullets from your guns.
Right.
You know, you killed your own people, and you rush to retake your pride. Yeah,
Yeah.
rebellion. That's not on our agenda, you know. But and then you have phenomenons like people who survive that kind of environment for many years, and you know, may not have the tools we need, but we're not going to give it up either. But we do have Jalil Muntakim, you know, great example.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I said, Jalil, man,
Right.
what kind of keeps you going? I said, just anger. Just
Yeah.
one, just anger, you know.
Well,
And,
there's so much injustice that is going on in the jails. So there's political prisoners. There's people in there, you know, they might have done this much and they get charged with this much,
Yeah.
or, you know, just the whole,
And
you know,
there's a lot of people in there that didn't do anything.
right. And
There's
and
a
lots
lot
of
of
people who
people
have
that
not
done
done anything. We
anything.
look at all the
That's not. Yeah.
in-
No, I know
at
you know, but I want people
exonerated.
to know. Yeah.
People exonerated
All the time.
all the time. So we just have so much to work on and to change. I want to, you know, mention, you know, we're so glad and grateful to work with the Jails Justice Network, to work with Cake and HALTsolitary, with Voice Buffalo, with Community Alternatives to Incarceration, and, right?
Center
That's
for
the other one.
Community Alternatives.
Center for Community
Community
Alternatives.
Alternatives,
Right, right. So I mean, there's and I'm Open Buffalo.
Yeah.
You know, is another one. You know, so there are so many groups that are trying to illuminate. And Franchelle Parker is actually going to be at our annual dinner when we have the annual dinner on November 10th, and I want to encourage people to come. We have a panel of 4 really fantastic speakers. So instead of having a keynote, we have all these great speakers, one being Craig McIver, friend of the show. He's been on this show a number of times,
Yeah.
and he's internationally renowned. He was the top human rights attorney in the UN, and he quit over the failings to Palestine.
Yeah.
So he's on the panel. Franchelle Parker, who is the founding director at Open Buffalo, and just a wonderful shero, you know, Shira, I guess I should say, and Shyam Sriram, he's a professor over at Canisius, and he is you know, about immigration justice and refugee resettlement. So, and political science. So he's a wonderful speaker and just a wonderful man, very, very, very good man. And last but not least, Shannon Seneca will talk about the indigenous rights, talk about the craziness of the doctrine of discovery, or certainly about environmental justice. And she's a scientist and indigenous woman, just a wonderful, very knowledgeable person. So all of those people will be speakers, and they'll all be talking about how the different aspects of our society are being affected by this onslaught against whatever the semblance of democracy that we have.
The semblance, yes.
The
'cause that
semblance
was-
that we have. So it's yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe if we want to go around on that, the semblance of democracy that we have.
No, I
Yeah,
do
or-
want to, before I say that, I definitely wanted to give some homage and some love to Chuck, man.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Chuck, I just remind me that he's an octogenarian now.
Right.
But Chuck is really an inspiration and shows what what power when we put our mind to it. It's about perseverance
Right.
and persistence.
Yes.
Which was advice that I got from Karima after we had picketed at the jail for a few times.
Yeah.
She said, if we come down every time somebody's killed here, the paper will write it up and say, yeah, another death. We don't come down and we don't persist and keep it in the public's face. Nothing's going to happen. That inspired me to say, you're right. We got to keep coming.
No, you've been very persistent.
Yeah, but what inspired me even before that, you were out here. You've always been a champion with
Yes.
these lynchings, what they call now. They call executions. Well, I think of lynchings is anyway, because it's mostly our people again. You were out on front on that when many of us, even myself, wasn't even cognizant of the amount of death and devastation that was causing all over the country. When I came home, you were already in the trenches in all of this criminal justice reform work. And as somebody who really didn't have to, you weren't either the color nor the class that could, it is always a pleasure to honor people who sacrifice their own for everybody else when they didn't have to. It's easy to sacrifice when we in the same boat and we gotta fight. But when I could really go in another direction and do my own thing and be all right or sell out or whatever else they do, you never did that from the moment you came out until right now. And that's to be applauded, acknowledged, and given honor to.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want to say that.
I need to mention that Chuck got the Phoenix Award from us. What year? A couple years ago.
Couple years, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then you're another one who should be getting an award. Yeah, it's too late for this year, but yeah. No, you did. Yeah, you unsung hero.
Yes, that's
Shiro. Shira.
This
Shira.
one right here,
But
Chuck is an icon.
Chuck
Yes.
is. No, and I've seen him even when you were on probation. You were still picketing the
parole.
probation.
Didn't matter. He didn't
Parole,
care.
parole.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Well, he'd have been on probation and parole. But
Yeah,
still
it's
didn't
any of
matter.
it. Any of it.
I've been on parole for 30 years, right?
30, yeah.
Someone said, how come? Why so? I said, they like me.
Right.
They like
No,
me.
you just have such a great attitude, Chuck. You
Yes,
really
and
do.
you are an
Really do.
icon, like she said, and I
Yes,
want people who
he
don't
is.
know you and may never get the chance to really know you to know, man, that in our community, man, you are an icon, you are a national treasure, man, that
Yes,
we really
you are.
respect.
God.
Respect your gangster, man, after
That's
all these
right.
years, man.
He's the
real
original
He's the OG,
yeah.
the real OG.
Real OG.
Yes, you
now
are.
that's it for octogenarian. Yeah. But thank you, Chuck, man, for always being, man, on the front
Always
line,
there.
man. Yeah.
Elmira,
Absolutely.
Albany, wherever.
Everywhere.
He is
Absolutely.
everywhere.
Wherever,
Yeah.
whatever.
Albany.
Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
good things about this country. But otherwise, you said we're in a state of crisis. We keep saying crisis. I'm saying it's a state of emergency. You talked about Attica. Everything that those brothers rebelled against,
It's-
rebelled for, is happening right now again.
Right.
We did not learn from history. Everything that those brothers made a list of demands, and it was about their families being able to visit them
Right.
unencumbered, about their mail not being censored and destroyed, about their having to have packages of food stuff to supplement the meager meals they gave you in there,
Right.
about all of the things that they're taking,
Right.
that they're just taking away. Be able to get books and materials. You got to be a millionaire or have the money left over for the heist you got arrested for these days to survive in there with what they charge for everything. And now you got these tablets that they tell you free, but anything you want worthwhile, you got to pay for that's on there. And so that's more. They're still bleeding a population of people and communities that
doesn't-
don't have it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I always have we have the worst and an ever increasingly worse income and asset distribution in the country. So
Always.
so what to your point of before, Donna, that when one person has as much as more than half of the rest of the country, more than half of the population of our country has an equal amount to one person who is not, I'll not name him, but it is a 4-letter word, his name. He's another one who shall not be named, but
you
Elon
go.
Musk. has as much as, I think it was 52% of the people. In the lower 52% of income and asset
Yeah.
that people have is how much he has, of the how many trillions or
Wow.
whatever he has. So it's just heinous. But what can we do? Let's move on to what can we do to try to make these changes, and let's focus back to, even though all of our issues are connected, on especially about the criminal justice system.
Can I tell you about what's going to happen on October 20th?
Yes, please do.
So on Monday, October 20th,
Right.
from 12 to 3 and from 5 to 9,
Right.
we will have at Elam Christian Fellowship Church on 70 Chalmers Street over
Right.
there in Central Park.
Yep.
There will be the Journey to Justice bus. It is a bus that will it's an interactive, it's like a museum about solitary confinement, how it started, what's wrong with it, why we need to abolish it, why HALT needs to be done, and there's a replica solitary cell for people to go into. For months, we've been inundated with news from the other side about how all of that is hyperbole. Here's opportunity for people now. Come out
Right.
and see for yourself.
Right.
And then there'll be tables there where people are different groups and organizations who want you to help out with what they're doing that may catch your fancy, you might be interested in, or you may want to learn about. You got opportunity now. Because there are a lot of people sitting home saying, "Man, I want to do something, I don't know what to do." Come out on the 20th. Come
Right.
to Elam. Talk to the tablers there. Find something that you really can do to help move these struggles we have forward. Because even though we ain't in the same boat, we all in the same storm.
Oh, we are. No, we are in the same. It not to the same degree, but one of the things, it's the old Martin Niemöller quote. First they came for the socialists, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists. I didn't say. And when they finally came for me, there was nobody left to say anything. We know
Yeah.
that this erosion of our civil liberties, of our human rights, that's going pervasive. But anyway, so you said Monday,
October 20th.
20th.
Between 12 and 3, and
yeah.
then 5 for the early part of the day if you're free, retired, school, classes, whatever.
Or it's part of your work.
Right, all part of your, but then from 5 to 9 at night, you can come down. You can go, no matter the weather, because we're at Elam, so you can go
Right.
inside. If there's inclement weather, the buses will be right at parked in
Will be
front.
right
so
there.
yeah, you won't get wet. You won't get
No, no.
cold. There will be light refreshments for you if you're coming from work, you come in from school, or you just want to grab a snack.
Right.
But you can come in, you can go in there, you can put on the VR goggles, you can do some of the interactive displays they have in there. You can see stuff from other states where it is something that will teach you about why isolation that we talked about is so detrimental to humanity,
absolutely.
and why solitary confinement is deemed torture, and why HALTsolitary was passed and has to be implemented. Come
Right.
on down. You got historians there, people who've been in solitary like myself, who survived it, who can tell you about their experiences, can tell you about the system. If Chuck can come by, I would like Chuck to come by as well. So it'll be a time where you can learn a whole lot for yourself.
I should be able to. I'll try my best. Although I might also be doing a radio show at that time as well. But maybe for the second half of the first half. The second half of the first half, something like that. But anyway, and I'm going to say, some of us were lucky enough to actually experience the HALT, the solitary cell that you all had put together, you with Patrick Craig and all them.
Yes.
And I know that was so highly impactful.
Yeah.
Just an unforgettably terrible.
Yeah.
Just to even be in there, just to hear the sounds. Just, even though, it was, in a space so that, people are knowing, we know we can come back out. We know we're not stuck in there. And even then, just the terror of and terrible nature of that space, of what to speak of being alone, what the isolation and the just heinous. Just heinous.
Torture.
Torture.
Donna said it.
Torture.
Put yourself in. People can't sit in their bathroom long enough to do the business they go in there for. Just think about having to sit in that space and get your meals
For
there.
years. They have to have people
But
years
look,
on
like
end.
she said, I dare anybody who's listening who who wants to come out to the thing still come out. But I dare you to sit in your bathroom for 24 hours. Take a day off, sick day, vacation day, whatever it is. You think it's going to be a vacation because people think solitary confinement is like Nirvana.
Oh, no. No.
When you come to this event, you're going to hear the soundtrack
Right. Well,
of an
that's what,
actual unit of where solitary confinement is going on, and you'll find out the last thing you do get is solitude. It's the last thing you
right.
Yeah, it's kind of like an oxymoron. What you were saying about what needs to be done, it's basically about education. And this tour bus has come across the United States. It stopped
Right.
at different cities. So we need to be educated. I mean, myself, I'm finding out things every day that I didn't know. For example, we were in Albany last weekend, and we had a summit to get together and try to figure out how we're going to attack the system. I found out that there are deaf people in prison and blind people. So now I'm trying to figure out what in the world could you do as a sightless person or as a blind person to get incarcerated, which just took me back to, they just wanted to lock somebody up that day and you were the prime candidate. They are the least ones who are taken care of. If you're deaf, you can't talk to your loved ones over the phone unless you have a phone system set up,
Right.
which in the past couple years they just started to implement that. Blind, I know a woman who's sightless in Bedford Hills. My daughter says that they have to walk her around, feed her, dress her. She's been released, but she's a resident in the prison because she's been there so long. She's nobody to go home to. When you think about what really goes on, that's the only way you're gonna attack it and make it better. You got to be educated.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's a hard lesson to learn. I know for me.
We're going to do that, but this is part of it. So that's why I'm so
Definitely.
grateful. We're running out of time now. So Chuck, I'm going to give you one more, if you have something you want to share. What's the last word you want to share for now?
Allah,
No.
they made me do it.
No. Well, we made you come on the show, but
My mother would have been 129 years old today.
really,
Yeah.
really,
She passed in 2006
Really?
at 87 years old, you know.
Happy
Oh.
birthday.
I was thinking of your recent loss, and I know you're going through
well,
hell times.
Chuck, I'm just so grateful to you for all your years of work and faithfulness,
Yes.
perseverance and persistence.
Yeah.
And Donna, the same to you, and Jerome. Honestly, you all three of you are so inspiring. There's so much that we need to do, and we are doing it. So this is Talking Peace, and together we've been talking peace in truth and love.